Hello, welcome to a talk on operations management, an introduction to one of the three core functions of the organisation. But more about that later. First, what exactly is operations management? Well, basically, operations management is about how organisations produce goods and services. This is obviously the core of any organisation, and we define it in a number of ways. The operations function is how to arrange those resources and how to make sure those that are devoted to the production and delivery of its products and services are used in the most efficient manner possible. The operations managers are those staff in the organisation who actually organise and manage some or all of the resources which comprise the operations function. Some of these things are clearly called operations managers. For instance, a friend of mine was operations commander of Camp Bastion, and he was a wing commander in the RAF, which was his rank, but his title was operations commander, and it was clear that he was responsible not overall command of the base, which is a much more senior officer, but he was responsible for making sure the base ran smoothly and everything they needed in a very, very difficult and hostile environment was provided. So he was an operations manager, but under him there had been a number of other people who would not have had the title of operations manager, various ranks, whose job would be to make sure different parts of the organisation resulted. For instance, those who needed to make sure the helicopters flew, those who needed to make sure the kitchens were working, those who needed to make sure that any injured soldiers or civilians were treated properly. These were all, in their way, operations managers. And the generic term for this is operations management. And these are the people who are responsible for all the activities, decisions and responsibilities of the operations managers. So generically we call everything operations management that is responsible to the core of the organisation. So as we've already said, operations management is basically concerned with producing and delivering all the products and services of any organisation. It must be noted that all operations organisations have an operations function, but they may not call it that. Not all operations functions are called operations. They may have a number of different titles. But at their heart, what they consist of is quite simple. They have inputs, things like materials. For instance, for a car, that might be steel, rubber, electronics, wire. They have information, design. What sort of look is the car going to have? What colour is it going to be? Is it a sports car or a family car? And they have customers. This could be anything from a Formula One team to a family looking for something that can take 3 kids and a dog to the seaside, the large cars. There's a variety of things, but they will all have some sort of materials, information and customers. And out of this, after we process them through the black box we call operations, will come the products and services that we sell. Like we said before, this would note that all organisations do this. And even if they do not automatically look like operations, we should be aware of what they are. So, for instance, we have the back office of a bank, which may be a big room full of computers and files and papers. And we may not think about operations the way we may think about Camp Bastion, or we may think about a car factory, but it is operations. There's the more classic kitchen manufacturing units. I was fascinated when I bought a brand new German kitchen to see how my design, which was information, put in Kutchin House in the centre of York, was transmitted to an automated factory in Germany, and how my pricing depended on me filling a certain number of slots on the production schedule and was able to get things to go into the kitchen. And it was obviously quite a fantastic, impressive organisation, a very impressive kitchen as well. Even things like the body shop, they are retail operations, but they have to have people putting things on the shelves, ordering material, make sure everything's in the right place, understanding what sort of material is likely to be needed, having the information on what customers want and what customers are buying at the moment. So these are all operations. And of course, a takeout restaurant operations. I mean, the classic model to look at is things like McDonald's or Subway. Or myself, I've always been interested in Harry Ramsden's, which were one of the first actually to develop this sort of operations technique, even though the credit has often been taken as usual by the Americans from McDonald's. But the Harry Ramsden's model of producing high quality fast food is very much the one that was taken up by other people. So this is extremely important. Operations management is at the heart of an organization. Done properly, it can reduce the costs by improving efficiency, by making sure that all the quality is maintained, waste is reduced. In doing this, it can actually boost revenue. If customers are increasingly satisfied, they're more likely to be return customers there. If they believe that they're getting good quality and they're getting good services, they're more likely to buy in the first place, they're more likely to buy again. And of course, it can reduce the need for investment. Doing this by increasing the effective capacity of the operation, and by increasing efficiency and by being innovative, it can actually mean that you don't need to buy new material, you don't need to buy new machines, you don't need to retrain staff. If you use the staff you have, even better. So there are a whole number of issues in which operations management is key to the successful operation of any business. And of course, enhance innovation. If there's a lot of good skills in the organization, if there's a lot of people capable of working well within the organization, if there's good knowledge, then it's likely they're going to be able to develop new products and new services, and this will further increase customer satisfaction. So operations isn't just the boring central bit, it is actually in many ways, it is key to the strategy and the successful strategy of the organization.